Hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your source for the finest two-way propaganda brought to you by TNVC.com. There are basically three control freak archetypes. The first is the Karen. She's well-meaning but stupid and uninformed. This is the mom in your area looking for action who just doesn't see any reason why people should be allowed to have fully semi-automagical 100 magazine bullet clips to shoot deer with heat-seeking cop-killer exploding bullets.
Son of a bitch.
Armor-piercing bullets?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Cop killers.
This is the kind of person who has no clue how guns actually work, what gun laws already exist, or what kind of people legally carry them. All they know is they're scary and black and they don't want them in their neighborhood. The guns and the people, you ask? Well, both. For most of these suburban soccer moms, they have no clue about the Jim Crow origins of gun control, and they aren't even consciously aware of their own racism. But that doesn't stop them from perpetuating racist policies. Of the three types, this type has the most potential for coming around, though. We can't bring everyone to the light side, but since their position is based mostly on ignorance and fear, we can address the root causes. Once they understand the truth, it is a lot easier to convince them on policy issues. The second archetype is the politician and oligarch who wants gun control so they can get away with the sort of things they couldn't do if you were armed. These are the ones the Second Amendment was written to stop, and they know it. They'll lie, cheat, and steal to get what they want, and if you think there is any limit whatsoever to what they're willing to do, just remember, their real goal isn't even to have you unarmed. Being unarmed is just a prerequisite for them to be able to do the horrifying things they could never accomplish with an armed populace.
So you bought some nods and now you're ready to rock, right? You knew you needed training to run that rifle like a Chad, so why should night vision be any different? TNVC.com is your source for the night fighter training you need to be effective.
Finally, the third archetype is the projectionist. They're unstable, irrational, and prone to violent outbursts. They're the type of person who really shouldn't have access to blunt instruments or power tools or stabby things without adult supervision, and they probably can't pass a background check. They have terrible impulse control, and they assume everyone else is just a grown child just like them. They project their negative emotions and rage onto everyone around them, assuming that because they would up and shoot somebody over something stupid like a parking space, then everyone in the world is just as unbalanced and would do the same. That's the kind of person Quintez Brown is. Brown is an outspoken gun control activist who was recently arrested for attempted murder after police say he fired multiple rounds into the offices of Craig Greenberg, a Democratic candidate for mayor of Louisville, Kentucky. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but one of the bullets did get close enough to ruin Greenberg's shirt and sweater. Police found Brown wearing the same clothes he was wearing in the security video and carrying a drawstring bag containing a 9mm Glock in its case, along with some magazines. Greenberg, as a mayoral candidate, doesn't exactly have a stance on gun rights in general or a plank in his platform one way or the other, except for a vague statement about wanting to get illegal guns off the streets. But Brown has written multiple opinion pieces for local papers, including an emotional rant against Kentucky's permitless carry bill, which passed in a landslide in 2019. He correctly points out that gun control laws are disproportionately enforced against people of color, but then somehow manages to totally avoid getting the point and concludes the answer to gun control laws targeting minorities is more gun control.
So then I shot off another flare at the first flare, because you know what they say, you gotta fight fire with fire.
Before I go, I just wanted to add a little something on the Remington settlement. Lots of folks are taking this as an indication the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act has no teeth, or that this sets some sort of precedent. But the Remington settlement was inevitable and of little note, to be honest. It's nothing more than vultures picking the corpse of a bankrupt company. Were Remington still a functioning company, it would be pretty simple to defend against these sort of suits.
Easiest thing in the world. Why would just blow right through it?
But the bean counters stripping the company are only interested in balancing ledgers as it pleases the courts. Now, $73 million does sound like a lot. would be to me, but who knows what the costs were for the multiple attorneys on the other side. And it isn't like the folks managing the shipbreaking are interested at all in vigorous negotiations. Besides, aren't out-of-court settlements normally private? Why are we hearing about the amount? Why are we hearing about this at all? Because the control freak propaganda mill is trying real hard to spin this as a landmark victory. That's why. So can we stop doing their work for them? Well, friends, that's all I have for you today. But before I go, I just want to take the time to remind you to please stop and check and see whether you're still subscribed to our channel. Our robot overlords and the tube of yous know what we want, but we could possibly know for ourselves. So they just go ahead and unsubscribe viewers from any channels they think express wrongthink, like this one. Now, you folks out there in TV land know censorship makes puppies cry, and Captain America is very disappointed. So, don't forget to stop and check every now and then just to be sure you're still subscribed to us. And while you're at it, make sure you ring that notification bell so you never miss a word of our gun rights propaganda. And if you want to get email alerts for the best deals, the projects we're working on, and the hottest stuff you missed on the ARFCOM forums, you'll also find a Linktree link down there in the doobly-doo for our newsletter. And remember, if you want to help us keep bringing you banger content like this, please support the folks who support us. Not only does TNVC.com give you night vision with that cool, refreshing, never bitter taste that goes down smooth, they also have mounts, lights, training, swag, and all sorts of 99% cruelty-free gear to make you the bump in the night. I love you.